Hello and good morning, dear students. In this picture, we are going to study next point of chapter 3. The point is elastic scattering, and here we are going to study lab and center of mass frame of reference. So we are particularly focusing on in this topic elastic scattering. So here laboratory and center of mass frame of reference are the two frame of reference for scattering. Okay, so why we need frame of reference? So frame of reference means what? Suppose scattering takes place and we are going to situate or fix our origin. So for fixing origin, because all our calculations are depends on this fixing origin. So to perform calculations, we need to fix our origin. So where we fix our origin, depending on that, there are two type of frame of references: laboratory and center of mass frame of reference. So first of all, we are going to study what is mean by laboratory frame of reference. So laboratory frame of reference is also known as lab frame of reference. In this frame of reference, laboratory frame of reference, the definition is simple. What is the definition? In laboratory frame of reference, experiments are performed in frame of reference. So to perform experiments in this frame of reference, one particle which is suppose m1 and velocity u1 is came and scattered with another particle which is having mass m2 and its velocity is 0. So u1 is the initial velocity of m1, u2 is the initial velocity of mass m2. So definition of laboratory frame of reference is that in laboratory frame of reference, one particle is stationary, so this is known as target, and another particle, so this particle is known as projectile. So one particle which is projectile came and collide or scatter with another particle which is at stationary. So such frame of reference is known as laboratory frame of reference. Now in this frame of reference, we fix our origin at this point where that mass m2 is situated. So our origin is over here. So with respect to this origin, velocity, momentum, all these factors are calculated. Now remember, in elastic scattering, the momentum and energy is also conserved. Energy means kinetic energy. So this is before scattering. So now after scattering, this mass m1 is scattered like this with velocity v1. Now angle of scattering is theta. Now this theta is calculated with respect to incident direction. So this is the incident direction in which that particle is came, and angle made by that particle with respect to incident direction is theta. Now mass m2, which is initially at rest over here, now that mass m2 is recoiled with an angle, we can say alpha, with velocity. So this is the situation after scattering. Now if you combine before scattering and after scattering, resultant is like this. So this is the initial direction. Now this is initial velocity of m1, this is final velocity of m1 which is vector v1, and this is velocity vector v2 of mass m2. So this angle is theta. This angle is known as scattering angle, okay, and this angle is alpha. So this angle is known as a recoil angle. Scattering angle and recoil angle are very important for studying scattering theory of particles. Now in this frame of reference, our origin is over here, where mass m2 is initially situated. Now if we apply equations, the first equation is for conservation of momentum. So conservation of momentum equation is like this. So initially momentum before scattering is equal to momentum after scattering. So momentum before scattering is what? So mass m1 and velocity u1, okay. So this is momentum of first particle. Momentum of second particle is 0. Now this is equal to momentum after scattering is this. Momentum of m1 is m1 v1. So v1 is the velocity of m1 after scattering, plus m2 v2, where v2 is the velocity of particle after scattering, particle, which is target. Now this is the equation for conservation of momentum. Now if you apply conservation of energy, so we know that conservation of energy here in elastic scattering, we know that kinetic energy before scattering is equal to kinetic energy after scattering. So the equation is this. So before scattering, kinetic energy is 1/2 m1 u1 square for first particle. For second particle it is 0. After scattering, 1/2 m1 v1 square plus 1/2 into v2. This is the equation for conservation of energy. Now all this is for laboratory frame of reference. So also one more thing in laboratory frame of reference, relative velocity. So relative velocity before scattering is equal to relative velocity after scattering. What is mean by relative velocity? So relative velocity is the velocity of these two particles relative to each other. Now if you keep your origin over here, so first of all relative velocity is u1 minus 0 before scattering, and after scattering relative velocity is v1 minus v2. So u1 is equal to v1 minus v2. So this is the next equation by considering elastic scattering. Now we are going to study center of mass frame of reference. So in center of mass frame of reference, now this frame of reference is also known as, in short, CM frame of reference, okay. So first of all we are going to study definition of center of mass frame of reference. Remember, in laboratory frame of reference we put our origin at mass m2. Now if we put our origin at center of mass of two particles, then such frame of reference is known as center of mass frame of reference. Now in this frame of reference, suppose mass m1 is initially moving with velocity u1 dash. So here we are taking notation dash to specify center of mass frame of reference. Now throughout this chapter, if notation of dash came, so try to understand this is in center of mass frame of reference. Now in this line, suppose mass m2 is again traveling toward mass m1. Suppose this is mass m2 which is traveling in this direction with velocity u2 dash. Now suppose this is center of mass of m1 and m2. So we put our origin at center of mass. and perform our calculations with respect to center of mass. So this is before scattering. So what is the definition of center of mass frame of reference? In center of mass frame of reference, both the particles m1 and m2 aim towards each other in such a way that center of mass is fixed before scattering as well as after scattering. Now if you look in situation after scattering, in that case, suppose this is the incident direction, here center of mass. Now both the particles are moving in such a way again that center of mass is fixed. Okay, so I think we have to show more clear. Suppose this is center of mass and this is the line. Now mass m1 is moving like this with velocity v1 dash, and mass m2 is moving like this with velocity v2 dash. Now this angle is known as theta dash. So this is the angle in CM frame of reference, angle of scattering. So this is the angle of scattering in center of mass frame of reference. Now for this frame of reference, theta dash is this angle, which is angle in center of mass frame of reference, and here in laboratory frame we have only theta. So whenever this symbol dash came, try to recall this. This is for center of mass frame of reference. Now if you draw resultant of before and after situation, so resultant is like this. So mass m1 came like this, mass m2 came like this, and both the particles are scattered by their at center of mass by their fields. So remember, what are those fields? Maybe electric, magnetic, okay, or gravitational. So you can take any field out of this. So mass m1, here mass m2. So mass m1 came like this, go like this, and see, this is the angle of scattering. Now this angle is theta dash. So angle of scattering. Okay. Now again, if we perform calculation for center of mass frame of reference, so by using conservation of momentum, first of all, so what is conservation of momentum now? So momentum before scattering is equal to momentum after scattering, but since these two masses came directly towards each other, so momentum of center of mass is 0. Okay, so this implies momentum of first particle is m1 u1 dash plus momentum of second particle is m2 u2 dash, and this must be 0. So this implies m1 u1 dash is equal to, if you take on right hand side, minus m2 u2 dash. So what does it mean? Before scattering, momentum of first particle and momentum of second particle are opposite to each other. So similarly, after scattering, these are moving away from each other. So again, center of mass is fixed after scattering. So write m1 v1 dash plus m2 v2 dash is equal to 0. So it means m1 v1 dash is equal to minus 2 dash. So this is after scattering. So again, conserve. So you write 1/2 m1 u1 plus 1/2 m2 u2 square is 1 m1 v1 square plus 1/2 m2 v2 square. So here we have to take notation dash. Okay, so all these equations are valid for center of mass frame of reference. Now if you take combinedly laboratory and center of mass frame of reference, so there is one very important factor is there. So momentum laboratory frame of reference is equal to 0, but momentum in center of mass frame of reference, okay, is equal to 0. Now this momentum is of center of mass, okay. So center of mass m1 and mass m2. So if you take mass m1 and m2, their center of mass momentum in laboratory frame is not equal to 2, but in center of mass frame is equal to 0. So as I told you earlier, experiments are performed in laboratory frame of reference and calculations are performed in center of mass frame of reference. So both frame of reference are very important. So remember, this is very important. Calculations we perform in center of mass frame of reference and experiments we perform in laboratory frame of reference. Now if you study combinedly laboratory and center of mass frame of reference, so combinedly lab and center of mass frame of reference, okay. So here again we know that mass m1 is coming with velocity u1 and mass m2 is fixed, okay. Now if you draw figure like this, so we know that this is angle theta, this is angle alpha. Now here if you take center of mass, so here you can write this as, so I think I should enlarge this figure so you will get clearer idea. I will draw this figure again but enlarged section. Suppose this is mass m1 with velocity u1 and this is the incident direction. Now here m1 came like this with angle theta. This angle is in laboratory frame of reference. Now here if mass m2 came like this with angle alpha, we know that this angle is theta dash. Now this theta dash is the angle in center of mass frame of reference. This is the angle in laboratory frame of reference. Now if you draw this and this, suppose you put your origin over here, means our observer is over here. Now if you draw this as vector capital R, okay, so vector R is the position of center of mass, okay, of m1 and m2, and suppose this is the vector r1 which is position of mass m1. Now suppose this is vector r2 which is position of mass m2. Now if you take this vector with respect to center of mass as r1 dash and this vector as r dash from center of mass. Now to perform calculations for combined frame of reference, mass m1 is moving like this, mass m2 is moving like this. Now this center of mass again shifting like this, okay. So center of mass is also moving away from origin, okay. So capital R is the position vector of this center of mass. m1 is moving like this, m2 is moving like this, and center of mass is moving like this, okay, with respect to time. Now if you do calculations, because we have to perform calculations for laboratory and center of mass frame. Just give me a moment to rub this out. This is vector r1 dash. Now to perform calculations for laboratory and center of mass frame of reference, if you look into this triangle, so by vector law of addition, triangle law of vector addition, you can write vector r1 as vector r plus r1 dash. See, vector r1 is vector addition of vector r plus r1 dash. Similarly, vector r2 is vector dash as vector r1 minus vector r, and vector r2 dash as vector r2 minus vector r. Okay, so you have taken this on the left hand side, this term on the left hand side. Now call both these equations as equation 1 and equation 2. Now you can write vector r as position vector of m1 with respect to m2. If you call this as vector r, now this vector r can be written as, now see, here r1, here is r2, and here is vector r. So you can write by triangle law of vector addition, r1 is equal to r2 plus r. Okay, so from this, relative vector between r1 and r2, see, why I am calling this relative vector, because this is connecting mass m1 and m2. So vector r is equal to vector r1 minus vector r2. Now call this as equation 3. Similarly, this vector r can be written as, this is vector r1 dash, this is vector r2 dash. We can write this vector as r1 dash minus vector r2 dash. Now call this as equation number 4. Now if you see our origin over here, okay, in center of mass reference, and in laboratory frame our origin is over here. So with respect to that origin, you can write equation with respect to O dash, equation of center of mass. We know that how we find out that position of center of mass. We can find out m1 r1 plus m2 r2 divided by m1 plus m2. Okay, so this is for position of center of mass. Now this equation is for m1 and m2 by choosing arbitrary origin. In previous chapter we have studied this equation. Now if you take this at origin over here, then we can write this equation as m1 vector r1 plus m2 vector r2 is equal to 0. Okay, now in this frame of reference we have to take notation dash. So with respect to O dash, our equation of center of mass is m1 r1 dash plus m2 r dash is equal to 0. Now as equation number 5. So by using this equation, okay, and this equation, which is equation 3 and 4, you can write, see, m1 r1 dash is equal to minus m2 r2 dash. So if you take r1 dash, so r1 dash is equal to minus m2 divided by m1 into r2 dash, and vector r2 is equal to minus m1 divided by m2, okay, into vector r1 dash. So if you put vector r1 dash in this equation, okay, equation number 4, so r1 dash in equation number 4, you will get, if you put this in this equation, what you will get? So vector is equal to, now instead of r1 dash you can write minus m2 divided by m1 into r2 dash minus r2 dash. So if you take negative sign common, so you will end up with 1 plus m2 divided by m1, okay, by taking r2 dash common, so r2 dash. So if you solve this, so minus m2 divided by m1 into vector dash. Okay, now from this equation vector r2 dash is equal to, if you take r2 dash is equal to, that becomes minus m2 divided by m1 plus m2, okay, into relative vector r by taking this term on left hand side. Now if you take mu, reduced mass of m1 and m2, by definition of reduced mass, mu is equal to m1 m2 divided by m1 plus m2. So if you take m2 divided by m1 plus m2, so m1 plus m2 is mu divided by m1. We have taken m1 on the left hand side, so you can put that over here. Okay, so vector is equal to minus mu upon m1 into relative vector r. Okay, similarly if you differentiate this equation, if you differentiate with respect to time, then we get r2 dash is equal to mu is constant, m1 is constant, r dash. So r2 dash is nothing but dash. Sorry, 2 dash. Why? Because derivative of r2 dash is position of mass m2 in center of mass frame of reference. If you take derivative of that term, so that is nothing but its velocity. But since we are in center of mass frame of reference, that velocity is in center of mass frame of reference. So v2 dash is equal to minus mu upon m1. Now r dash is the relative velocity. We are calling that velocity as vector v. So this is the equation. Now from this equation you can write to relative velocity is equal to minus m1 into v2 dash. Okay, similarly if you write here, instead of, if you put r2 dash, okay, instead of this r1 dash in this equation, equation number 4, you will end up with equation mu v is equal to, I think here we have m2, so mu v1 dash. Okay, so call this as equation number 6 and this as equation number 7. So mu relative velocity is minus m2 v2 dash, and that is equal to m1 v1 dash. Now this equation you will get following the same procedure. Okay, now do this as exercise, so you will came to this equation. Now next here we know that relative velocity before is equal to relative velocity after scattering. Okay, and by using conservation of momentum, so if you apply conservation of momentum, then momentum before scattering is m1 u1. Now relative velocity before scattering is what? u1, so which is u minus 0. See, relative velocity before scattering is what? u1 only. Why u1? Because here you can see before scattering relative velocity is velocity of m1, which is u1, and m2 is fixed. That's why relative velocity is velocity of m1 minus velocity of m2, so that is only u1. And after scattering, velocity of m1 is v1 and velocity of m2 is v2. So that's why we get relative velocity before scattering as only u1, and after scattering relative velocity is v1 minus v2. So we are calling that as velocity v. Okay, so u1 is equal to v. Now if you apply conservation of momentum, before scattering momentum is m1 u1, and after scattering momentum is m1 v1 plus m v2. Okay, but v1 can be written as vector v plus v1 dash, and v2 written as vector v. Equations. See here, first of all, if you take derivative of this term, so that is nothing but v1. So if you take derivative of this is nothing but v1, and if you take derivative of this is nothing but v2, and if you take derivative of vector r, so derivative of vector r is nothing but velocity of center of mass. So this is just a moment. I think I will redraw that figure again. On a larger scale. Okay. Now here, see, this is vector r1, this is vector r2. Sorry about interruption. I think there is some problem. We will continue our next lecture from here. Problem is not resolved yet, so we will continue our next lecture from here. Thank you.